I love a good chin wag with an older woman who's
He
lived
loves it
life.
best when their chin is wagging.
I do, actually. You know that, George. I love a good wagging chin.
This coffee's empty. It's merely an advert for Cadbury's Whisper. And let me tell you, there is not a single Cadbury's Whisper inside it. It's false advertising.
It is, isn't it?
What a disappointment.
Dear George and Luke.
Hello.
Firstly, can I just say I really appreciate you making these videos. I love the fact that Luke is such a handsome gentleman and that George has such wonderful advice to give. And I really do hope you can help me.
What do you mean you hope?
Very nice of you to say.
You hope we can help
Very nice
you.
of you to say.
How dare you say you hope? What kind of people do you think we are? You think that we're unprofessional? You think that we're just sitting here for our own fun? You think that we're incompetent? Is that what you think?
Is that what you're
How dare
saying,
you say
love?
such terrible things? We love you, don't worry about it. Thank you very much for all
That's
the
what
kind
we're here
words.
for.
You needn't hope because you are in safe hands. You have fallen, we are going to catch you, we're going to raise you back up onto that beautiful cloud. You're going to sit on the cloud, look at the sun, God's going to come down, he's going to stroke you on the top of the head, he's going to link his arm with yours, and you're going to go gallivanting off into the sunset, parading through the heavens. Your feet will essentially make the sound of tinkling bells. You will be like two seraphims gliding forever and ever and ever, and that's all going to happen as soon as this video is finished. That's going to be your life. You're going to go on TV and he's going to go, what's that guy's name? This is your life?
Des O'Connor.
No! I don't know. Carry on. What's the problem? Let's
Dear
solve
George
it.
and Luke.
She's waited long enough.
Right. Hello. We're going to solve it right now.
We've got an advert.
This advert.
Adverts! How dare it? Here we are talking
that
about the
moment.
heavens and then Satan himself just comes in with a giant ad.
Absolutely.
Don't worry, we got rid of him.
We did with one foul finger.
We
We got rid of him.
cut him in half.
My boyfriend is
Fire.
leaving me to look after our child
Sorry, we can't help you. Next one.
as he relives, his teenage years.
Oh, wait. Okay. He's leaving you to look... I thought that read like, he's leaving me to look after our child. I thought it meant like, he's leaving with the child. Like, I'm a terrible mother. He's leaving me so he can look after the child. But you meant he's leaving you so you have to look after the child whilst he goes and relives. Well, it doesn't sound like he's reliving. Chances are he probably didn't live his teenage years enough. So maybe he's trying to live out the years he never lived, which is more often the case. Because when somebody really burned out, they're like, oh my God, that's it. I've lived that life to the point where it's not even fun anymore. It's like eating a lot of sweets and sugar and it seems great, but then you eat too many, you go, oh my God, and you feel sick and you're like, I never want to touch sugar again. Young male teenage fun going out into the night on a Friday, Saturday is a bit like that. And maybe he didn't eat his fill. He didn't get sick of it yet. So maybe he's not reliving. Maybe he's just, he ain't had enough chocolate yet.
He hasn't experienced it fully.
Or so he thinks.
So, ladies and gents, she's a 28-year-old woman and she's been with her boyfriend for 10 years, George. 10
Well, he obviously didn't have his teen years then, did he?
do you know what? Just to cut out, I can relate to this myself. I was in a relationship from a very young age.
You just had to make it about yourself.
I did. I know, George.
Always having to make things about
And,
you. No, tell it.
no, I'm just going to say, I was in a relationship I from sort of late teenage years. For many years we were together. And
About the same
amount as they have been. And we didn't have a child or anything together, to make that clear. But we were in a very long relationship. And yeah, I didn't feel like I sort of had my fill, so to speak. And I think one of the reasons why we did end up separating,
Because neither of you had those years.
Neither of us had those years, but it felt like, I'm just saying, it seemed as though she didn't feel like she'd missed out on anything. She was quite happy to
settle down
and start a family and all the rest of it.
Well, you're quite a catch, ain't you?
Well,
She
thank
probably
you.
thought, well,
And then I met George, and then we broke up.
ruined everything.
But yeah, and so I had.
For
this
the
pull in me,
record,
though,
I did
George.
not make that relationship come to an end. I didn't go, no, look, you want to get out there and live your teen years. You know how many chocolate Cadbury's Whispers are out there? Fucking millions of Cadbury's Whispers.
There's
Sack
none in
this
there,
one
is
off.
there?
No.
Right. So anyway,
But no, I didn't tell you to do
no,
that.
you didn't. But go on. No. So within me, I knew there was something. There was an animal. There was a wolf, ladies and gentlemen. There was a wild animal within me that hadn't been satisfied. That hadn't been quenched. Right?
It hadn't quenched enough other people's satisfactions.
And so, the relationship had to come to an end, and it's sad because she has a lot of qualities, and I'm sure she would have made a great sort of long-term partner for someone.
A lot of qualities. I've got Cadbury's here at Quality Street over there.
Exactly.
She had lots of chocolates in her Quality Street, but just not enough to hang on for a lifetime.
This happens though, doesn't it, George?
Yeah.
So anyway, we had a daughter 4 years ago, which wasn't planned, but we both adore her.
There's a simple thing that there's a comedian called Bill Burr, and you probably have heard of him.
I've heard of
right?
him.
And there's a thing he said where he was giving advice about
I only
settling
knew about
down.
him until when I saw him in The Mandalorian, and I was like, "Who's that guy?" And then I saw his name in the credits. It's Bill Burr.
You didn't know who he was?
Well, I kind of did, but I wasn't really aware of it. I didn't. I've heard clips of his voice, but I hadn't really seen his face, so I was like, "Oh, okay." Anyway, tell us about Bill.
So Bill is brilliant, and I've known
brilliant.
about him for quite some time.
Bill is brilliant.
Even went to see him live once.
Did ya?
I did. Yep. Bought a ticket. Had to get on a train, go quite far away. Sat there, watched him. He was about this big on the stage. He was absolutely tiny, but it was brilliant. But anyway, he said in one of his little routines, he's giving advice to his child who doesn't exist yet.
Right.
And his child is a boy in this little sketch, and he says to him in regards to who to settle down with, he says, you go out there as a teenager, in his own words, he goes, bang as many as you can, so you don't have a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a very, very potent thing he said, because, yeah, you can take it, Tony, oh, is it just a joke, he's a comedian, but no, so much of humour is telling the truth, right? There's an old saying, which is, comedians say, my form of comedy is telling the truth. But anyway, there's truth to that, because if a young man doesn't go out there and play the field and sow his wild oats, right, then the destiny...
That, wild, sowing your wild oats.
It is. It's
what does
sort
that
of
even mean?
Just get some oats, right? Don't make it into porridge yet. Keep those oats for yourself before you put some hot water or some milk on it, right? And get out there, get some sowing, and start sowing them wild oats. Sow them to the wall, sow them to the back of your leg, why not? Like, sow them into your hair and make it all look braided and weird, and you look like one of those people like in a courtroom, you know what I mean? Yeah, came in with my wild oats. But anyway, and then dunk you red in a big bath of milk and let them go, and that's when the marriage sets in. So basically, it can lead to a midlife crisis because he hasn't sowed those wild oats. There's a thing which is that if you get into a relationship or anything, like, it's as simple as this, right? Everything in life, every door you open closes other doors. So if you go home with one girl, one woman, she goes home with you, right? By going home with her that night, you've closed all the doors of all the other women you might have met or whatever. All the other experiences you could have had that night, you didn't have. And it happens with everything. You go to the cinema, you've opened the door, gone in the cinema, but you've closed 1,000 other doors for 1,000 other things you could be doing that day. Well, if a man settles with one woman, okay, I opened the door to that relationship, but I closed the door to hundreds or thousands of other potential relationships. And if he reaches middle age, he looks back on, oh my God, how many doors did I never open? How many experiences did I never partake in? Did I never explore? How many avenues did I never walk? Because I walked this one. And even if he's perfectly happy and he's got everything he could ever need and he's got nice children, he's got a roof above his head, well, that's okay, but you only live once. So he's going to think, this is it. This is going to come to an end and I'm never going to know what I missed. And sometimes you have to know what you missed. There's a reason why they call it the hero's journey, right? The hero's journey is the man who goes out into the wilderness, explores the mysteries of Earth, goes into the great unknown, and once he's there, he discovers all these things. Oh, exciting, but it's scary. Oh, I make these mistakes. Oh my God. And then he comes back at the end, and he comes back to what is essentially home, and he brings the wisdom that he learned back to home so he can share it with the people that he loves. But if the man never goes out into the unknown, then he never gets the hero's journey. And really part of being a man and feeling like a man, I should say, is having that experience at some point in your life, which really is supposed to happen when you're sort of a bit like young and Luke Skywalker-ish, right? When you know, he's standing there and he's a kid looking up at the two suns going, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to go and see what's over that great horizon. And and then one day maybe I'll come home. But if he just stays home because he met some lass, well, that'll be fine for a while until he gets, 28 like you and goes, hang on a sec, I haven't gone out there into the sunset yet. I've got to go and do that. So, it happens.
It does, George.
But that doesn't mean it's okay for him to leave a woman with his own child. No, don't get me wrong, I'm not completely forgiving the guy. I mean, he made his bed, he should be lying in it.
So, my problem is, while I've matured and take parenting and family life really seriously, he seems to have gone the other way and has been really...
What do you mean you've matured? What, you like cheese? I've matured. How can you determine if you have matured? Surely it is
Leicester,
partly for the eyes of others to determine if you have matured.
Now life is opening up again following the lockdowns. He's at the pub a lot with his mates or stays late at work.
Yeah, but honey...
I mean, that's not...
He's been in lockdown for years. 2 years. Of course he wants to go out and reconnect. He's been fucking stuck in a room with you for 700 days. That's hard. Of course he wants to check if his boys are all right. He was probably scared about them, thinking, are they going to live? This is hard on him. Can't expect him to not go out there and reconvene. I mean, no man is an island, they say. You just told us you were mature. What's mature about you? No man is an island means, person can't live isolated and alone. They need an island can be by itself, lots of sea around it, no other islands. But a human being can't. A human being needs some kind of stimulus and connection with other human beings. So there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. He's perfectly fine and healthy. And when he feels good because of his lads, he'll bring that positive energy home to you and your child, and it'll make your life better. Don't stop him.
Yeah, I think So she says, I'm doing most of the childcare while he gets to do all the fun stuff.
That does sound a bit like normal married life,
playing
to be
with
honest.
her and reading bedtime stories.
That sounds wonderful.
Nice.
I'm envious.
What?
I want to be you. Not only do I envy you, I want to be you.
I haven't quite read the problem yet. I feel bad complaining. Oh, you do? Because I do really love him and I know he loves us, but I just wish he'd grow up a bit and take more responsibility at home. I'm worried our relationship is sliding into an unhealthy place.
You're just looking for problems where there ain't none. You're like, I don't have anything to complain about, so where can I look to find a potential problem? I know, he's going out with his boys, he's having some fun. Why don't you just say to him, tell you what, honey, right, on Thursday, you take the child, you watch a movie with her and tuck her into bed, and I'm going to go and see my friends. And he'll probably be like, yeah, all right.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, have a good time. Don't worry about it.
See you later. Right, I'm worried. Okay, so she's worried. She feels he's not there enough. I can feel guilt. I can feel myself getting angry with him, which has never happened before. How can I get him to see things from my point of view without causing a massive argument to blow up?
Well, first of all, why don't you try seeing things from his point of view? Because it doesn't seem like you have.
No,
all you've done is you told us that you were mature. But there's the thing, as soon as somebody tells you that they're mature, they're probably not. It's an old saying, actually, where people go, as soon as someone tells you that, I'm really clever, they're probably not that clever, okay? Maybe sometimes they are, but most of the time, if you're clever, you didn't need to tell us, did you? I mean, it would sort of speak for itself. So maybe you're not that mature. Try and see things from his point of view. And by the way, men are tribal, okay? We're tribal beings, and men belong kind of in packs. They need to hang out with the boys. They need to connect because it's important. Men protect each other. There's strength in numbers, and all men are very aware of that. There's a reason why we gravitate to sports like football, and it's not just because we like to see kicking a ball around. It's because we like to see a group of men working together, right? Yes, they're making it work. They're getting along. It's tribal. They're going out on the hunt. That's what football essentially kind of replicates in a modern capacity. So it's healthy for him. He needs to feel that strength. And the other thing is he'll feel stronger as a man by connecting with those men. And it's part of a man's natural obligation when he's got a partner. He feels a need to protect you, okay? And it's a tall order to think I've got to protect this woman and my child, and maybe we'll have more children, and it's all on my shoulders to keep her safe, to keep my children safe. Well, he'll feel much more secure doing that, knowing he has a group of other men around who love, support and protect him, because then he knows they'll protect you and your child as well. So it's very, very important. Don't cut your man off from his friends. All women watching, Don't start cutting your man off from his friends.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those women who goes, oh, you didn't see me tonight. You don't laugh with me the way you laugh with them. It's important, okay? He needs it. It's a battery. He needs to go out there and get his battery recharged so he can bring that positive energy to you. Don't get upset and anxious about it. Let him go and have a good time. You go and have a good time as well. You're looking for problems where there aren't any, right? And frankly, you say you're mature, but you need to grow up a bit. You need to grow up a bit. Plus, yeah, just go there and have fun and
this is it.
Stop stressing. Speak to your women about it. Don't
Exactly.
speak to us. Sorry about it. Thanks for writing to us. You know, thanks for all the compliments at the beginning.
We did enjoy that.
But what you need to do is you need to vent with your girlfriends. You need to vent. You need to have a little bit of a rag, right? Bit of, not that sort of a rag. Have a bit of a rag on, you know, your mate, and let them have a bit of a gossip, and you can all have a good time.
No relationship is perfect, right? Except for George and I.
Yeah.
And so shit's gonna happen. But it seems to me that, if I'm honest, I understand you want a bit of help around the house. Maybe he's not pulling his weight a little bit there, this, there, and the other. You can have a few words with him about that. But for you to feel like he's just like doing something terrible, and he's really not, is he? He's just hanging out with his mates, which, as George has just told us, as we already know, is very, very important, right? He's doing his best. He could improve here or there, but I'm sure so could you. You guys have an honest conversation. You have some time for yourself. You get to enjoy some nights out with the girls when he looks after your baby, and you guys can absolutely have the best relationship because there isn't really anything terrible going on here.
So, battery's about to run out. I agree with everything you just said. But here's the thing.
You were just doing a funny dance, George.
I was doing a funny dance. I was reaching up, taking energy from the sun and transporting it into the camera battery to give us an extra few seconds. So I'm going to end with one very, 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 very simple point. You've been together for 10 years.
10 years.
That's an incredible accomplishment.
Beautiful.
18 to 28 is essentially a fairy tale, a match made in heaven. And even better than that, you just survived 2 years in quarantine together, which most couples have never had to endure, right? Most couples cannot endure. Most two people cannot endure that kind of proximity for that amount of time, right? Even though we've been on the sofa together pretty much since the day we were born. The moment that our mothers dropped us off into this world, right out of their wombs, my mum dropped me off on this side of the sofa, his mum dropped him off on that side of the sofa, and we ain't never left. We just have our food brought in and put on this coffee table right here. So it managed, we worked. But the thing is for you, you've literally been in quarantine for 2 years together and you're still together. Many people broke up. There were huge divorce rates after about a month of quarantine beginning. Lockdown, right? As soon as it started, divorces went through the roof. Quite literally, men went through the roof just to be like, oh my God, I need to get out of here. And women did the same thing. You've survived. Don't throw it away now that you got through the hard bit. It's just getting good again. Yeah. Let him go out, have a good time. You go out, have a good time. You both got to acclimate to the reality that we have now, you know, re-entered. And call your girls up, see some people, tell him you want him to look after the child now and again, and just you know, have a lovely time. Love each other, get along.
Problem solved.